Hi and welcome, my fellow brethren. You might be feeling like your problems are getting worse instead of better. You might wonder, where is the Lord? But when added problems arise, it is often just a little more water on the sacrifice. In 1 Kings 18, Elijah issued a bold challenge to the kings of Israel, his 450 priests of Baal, and the Israelites who had been led astray into Baal worship. Elijah said to the people, "How long will you falter between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him, but if Baal, follow him." Then Elijah spelled out the ground rules for the contest that was about to take place. 2 bulls on 2 separate altars, with no fire under either altar. Then you, priest of Baal, call on the name of your gods, and I will call on the name of the Lord. And the God who answers by fire, he is God. Everybody agreed to the terms, and the contest began. The priests of Baal danced, screamed, cut themselves, and wore themselves out, calling to Baal. No answer, no fire on the sacrifice. Then it was Elijah's turn. Before Elijah called upon the Lord to answer, he took time to repair the altar of the Lord, arranging everything exactly as it should be. Then, instead of calling immediately for God to send his fire from heaven, he gave an unusual order. Fill 4 water pots with water and pour it on the burnt sacrifice and on the wood. They obeyed. Then Elijah told them to do it a second time. Then he told them to do it a third time as well. What was the point? Elijah was making this bold declaration: water on this sacrifice will not withstand God's fire. All the water in the world won't make any difference. It won't keep the Lord from consuming this sacrifice by fire. Sometimes when things get worse instead of better, our hearts grow cold and we forget to trust in the Lord. Why aren't you answering my prayer? Why aren't you coming to my aid? Could it be that one of the purposes for the worsening situation, a little more water on the sacrifice, is that God will be glorified in an even greater way in our lives? When our situation gets worse instead of better, maybe it's just a little more water on our sacrifice. Perhaps the end of the matter will be a greater testimony of God's glory at work in our lives. Can you see how your worsening situation might be the ground for a greater outpouring of God's glory when He answers? Will you trust the Lord, recognizing these added complications as simply more water on the sacrifice? So, my fellow brethren, may you be encouraged. When God's fire falls, it will be powerful, as nothing can resist Him. For each added problem is simply a little more water on the sacrifice. Please follow me on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram, and let's stay connected.